Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm super excited to share with all of you a try-on haul of the items that I picked up from the cosmetic company store and the luxury beauty store. I got a little bit overexcited at both of these stores, and so I picked up a ton of items. So if you're interested in seeing what I hauled, then just stick around. So first off, in case you guys aren't familiar with these stores, these are pretty common stores in luxury outlets, and basically they take overstock items from retailers and sell them at a discounted price. And so in particular, the cosmetic company store is one that I've heard really great things about for a while from Morgan Turner and other YouTubers who have really recommended this as a great place to buy Tom Ford quads in particular. And so when I went to an outlet recently, I wanted to check out this store, and it just so happened there also was a luxury beauty store as well. And so I picked up a ton of makeup and skincare items. So typically with these stores, you're not going to get the same luxury experience that you'd get from a retailer. You're not going to have as much in terms of shade options or in terms of any newer releases. A lot of the items are going to be items that are a little bit on the old side and that the retailers were trying to get rid of. And so this is my first time shopping at either of these stores. I don't actually live close to any of these stores, but I was really excited to stop by them, and I'm quite happy with the deals I was able to score. So today I'm really excited to actually try on these products and see if they're the same kind of quality that you'd get at normal stores. So let's first just start off by going through what I got at the cosmetic company store. So I ended up picking up 3 Tom Ford quads. Originally, I was just gonna buy one of these, but they ended up being only $19, which is amazing given that these retail for $89. So you see they come in your standard brown packaging from Tom Ford, and it has the name on the top. Inside, you have your cute little brown Tom Ford dust bag for each of the palettes. And then here we have the palettes themselves. So the first one I picked up was Body Heat. So here is Body Heat. This is one of the most popular Tom Ford quads, and he always re-releases this in new packaging. And so I figured it would be nice to have this in my collection. And as far as I can tell, the quads look totally brand new and untouched. So I don't think you have to worry about these being returned products. I also picked up Daydream, which is this beautiful purple color story. I've actually seen this on sale at Saks Fifth Avenue for 50% off. So originally I was a little bit on the fence about getting this, but since it was 75% off, I really could not resist the deal. And then the last quad I picked up was Pretty Baby. This is the only quad that's not in his wet dry formula that I picked up. And basically, I'll show you guys swatches later, but this shade over here swatches so beautifully. So I decided I definitely wanted to pick this up just on the basis of this shade alone. So originally I was just gonna pick up some Tom Ford quads and call it a day, but because these ended up being basically half as much as I thought they would cost, I got really excited and decided I wanted to buy other things from the store too. And so in particular, I saw that they had the La Mer powder foundation, and that was really exciting to me because I've been eyeing this product for a long time, but it retails for $140, and so I could never justify it, especially because I'm not really a powder foundation person. But this was on sale for only $60, and so at that price, I figured it was worth a try. And so this is totally sealed in plastic, so that's great. Again, at first I was a little bit worried buying from the store whether some of the stuff might be used, but as far as I can tell, no, everything seems totally brand new. In case you're curious, here are the details about the product. This is a SPF 30 powder foundation. And here we have the beautiful untouched packaging. This is what it looks like on the back, and I think this is refillable. Inside we have the compact and a puff, along with a nice sized mirror. So as I mentioned, one downside of shopping at this store is they do have a pretty limited shade selection. So I ended up getting this in 21 Rose, which I'm pretty sure is not my shade. Later on, I watched some videos of this product and I realized that Michelle Wong used this shade and she is way, way lighter than me. So we'll see how this works. I'm hoping that because it's a powder foundation, maybe I can sheer it out so it won't be as obviously different from my skin tone, but hopefully I can make this work on my skin. The other product I picked up was the Estee Lauder Double Wear Foundation. This is in the shade 2W1, and this is also one where I'm really not sure if this is my right shade match. The other thing about the cosmetic company store is the staff members there won't actually help you with shade matches. So apparently they're not trained to do so, and also they don't really have time to help you out. So if you're looking for a full service experience, definitely first go to Sephora, Nordstrom, or somewhere like that. Figure out your shade match before coming to this store. But I wanted to pick this up because I've been hearing a lot of great things about this foundation as just kind of an OG full coverage foundation. Usually I don't go for full coverage, but I figured given how iconic this foundation was, and it was only $20 at the cosmetic company store as opposed to its normal $42, it would be good to have this in my collection, if for nothing else than to compare it to other formulas on the market. And the packaging for this is quite nice. It comes in a very heavy bottle, feels very luxurious. And so all those items together came to $137, which I think is pretty good considering that's less than the cost of 2 Tom Ford quads. And I also got a lot of freebies along with that. They gave me this bag of products where I could basically choose a bunch of different samples. Here is the Too Faced Born This Way Matte 24-Hour Foundation sample in the shade Light Beige. So I'll probably try that out in a future video. And then we also have a MAC Strobe Cream, this essential oil elixir from a brand called Darphine Paris. This Clinique Eye Cream, it's their Moisture Surge Eye Hydro Filler Concentrate. We have a Smashbox Photo Finish Oil and Shine Control Primer. So I guess this is a mattifying primer. And then we have an Estee Lauder The Illuminator Radiant Perfecting Primer and Finisher. So I'm excited to try out all of these little guys as well, since I always love free samples. Since I have this makeup review channel, it's always really nice to be able to just get a small sample of something to try for you guys instead of having to buy the full product outright. So definitely stay tuned for some demos of these products. In addition, I got this Clinique Fresh Pressed Daily Vitamin C Booster. I'm not really sure what exactly this product is. They said to use this with moisturizer, so I guess maybe this is a way to add some vitamin C to your moisturizer. Personally, I'm quite sensitive to vitamin C, so I don't really know if I'll get a lot of use out of this, but it was nice that they included this as a freebie. And then finally, because I spent above $125, they gave me this Estee Lauder package. So it comes in this cute bag. So inside we have here a Sumptuous Extreme Lash Multiplying Volume Mascara from Estee Lauder. We also have a Pure Color Envy Lip Repair Potion. Let's see, actually 2 mascaras. So I don't actually have much use for mascaras if they're not waterproof, so I'm not really sure what I'll do with these, but, oh, and then another one of these lip repair potions. Okay, so a lot of duplicates. And then let's see, what is this? Okay, so is this a luggage tag or something? So we have this thing over here. And then we have some stickers. And then we have this Double Wear Infinite Waterproof Eyeliner in Coal Noir. Okay, I can use an eyeliner at least. All right, so this was not necessarily that worth it to spend any extra money, but I guess it's fine as a freebie. I don't think I'll get much use out of the mascaras, but at least I can use the lip products and the eyeliner. So those were the products from the cosmetic company store. I also picked up some products from this luxury beauty store. So let's go into this haul. So first off, they had this bag of items from Kiehl's, and this whole bag only cost $27. So first off, we have the Calendula Petal Infused Calming Mask. And I was quite excited about this because I've been interested in getting more calming wash-off masks. For me, clay-based masks usually don't work that well since I have dry skin and they tend to dry it out further. But I really do like using wash-off masks. So I wanted to try this calming mask out. And then they also had the Kiehl's Ultra Face Cream. This is one of my all-time favorite face creams. Basically, whenever my skin is feeling kind of irritated, maybe I've been trying out too much new skincare, I always go back to this. And this jar on its own is around $30, and so that's why I knew that this would hopefully be a good deal for me. Now, I don't know how long these skincare products have been around. I hope this isn't a situation where they've been in a warehouse for like 5 years. So fingers crossed they're still new enough to use, but provided they are, then this seemed like a really good deal. And then the final item in that bag is this eye cream from Kiehl's. So this is their Youth Dosed Eye Treatment, and this has some pro-retinol, grapeseed extract, and vitamin C. As I mentioned, I am quite sensitive to vitamin C, so I'm not sure how much use I'll get out of this, but I was mostly motivated by the other two products. Next up, I got 2 lip kits from Armani. So first off, I got this duo of their Lip Power lipsticks. It's kind of serendipitous because the day before I went to the outlet, I actually filmed my June roundup, and in that video I tried on some samples of the Armani Lip Power because I wanted to try out the formula, and I didn't necessarily have the highest expectations when I tried them because I have a pretty high bar for hydrating lipsticks, but they actually really impressed me. So the next day when I went to the outlets and saw this on sale, I got really excited and decided to pick it up. So basically, these originally retail for around $40 each, but then this kit was sold during the holiday season for around $40-some for the 2 of them. And then there was additional 50% off because it was at the outlets. So essentially, I got this kit for around $20, even though each of these individually retail for around $40. So these 2 shades are actually shades that I tried on in my June roundup. So if you guys want to see these on my lips, definitely check out that video. So this is the shade 104. So it's a really pretty everyday pinky beige shade. And then the other one is the shade 400. So this is a really vibrant red shade. I wouldn't say these were my favorite shades ever upon my initial swatches, but I am really excited to have this formula in my collection, and I think these are quite versatile. In terms of packaging, I will say this feels a lot more luxe in person. It kind of looks very simple, I would say, in pictures, but in person it has a good weight to it, and it has a very solid, satisfying click, and so overall quite luxurious, and especially for around $10 each, I think these will be a really great addition to my collection. I also picked up this kit of the Armani Lip Maestros. So this is a mini lip kit with 3 of the Lip Maestros. I've never actually tried out the Lip Maestro formula. My understanding is that these are more of a matte liquid lipstick formula, but they're supposed to be quite comfortable. So in today's video, I'll definitely demo one of these and give you guys my initial impressions. The luxury beauty store, unlike the cosmetic company store, did not give out any free samples. So that is all for my outlet haul. If you guys have been to these sorts of stores before, I would love to hear your thoughts down below. But without further ado, let's get into trying these products on my face. So at the moment, I have a totally bare face, nothing but skincare on. And so let's start out with these complexion products. So I'm really excited to try out this La Mer foundation because I haven't actually used powder foundation all over my face before. So this will be a new experience. I have dry skin, so I've always gone for cream or liquid foundations. But let's see how this works with the little puff that's included. So I'm just gonna sweep this. Oh, okay. Picked up a decent amount. So let's just put this on the right side of my face. Ooh, okay. Interesting. It doesn't have as strong as a fragrance as I would have anticipated from La Mer. I have tried out their liquid foundation before and I did really like that. If you guys haven't seen that video where I compare it with the Tom Ford Shade and Illuminate foundation, definitely check that out. Okay. Ooh. Okay, I think this shade is not terrible on me if I do a sheer layer. Let's put a little bit more in the center of my face, under the eyes, and just sweep it all around. All right, so here we have the foundation on this side and no foundation on this side. We'll fix that line on my nose shortly, but I think this gives you a good sense of how this foundation looks on the skin. It's definitely quite blurring. I feel like I didn't put a ton on, but as you guys can see from the two sides of my face, this side definitely looks way more smooth and perfected in comparison to this side over here. The shade is definitely a little cooler than my skin tone, which makes sense. This is actually for people with cool undertone skin, which I do not have, but they didn't have any options in the store for people with warm undertones. So unfortunately, this was the only one I could go with. But alrighty, that looks pretty good. And at least upon initial application, it doesn't feel drying, which is great. I mean, I guess the advantage of doing powder foundation is you don't have to powder afterward. This is just kind of a one and done. So very nice. Let me actually powder the eyes as well. That feels pretty good. And interestingly, I just noticed they have these little holes in the compact over here. So I guess that allows some air circulation for your puff, which is quite nice. That's good. Hopefully that keeps things a little bit more hygienic. On the other side of my face, I'm going to go in with this double wear foundation. Let's see how well this shade goes. Oh, interesting. Huh. Are you supposed to buy a pump separately from this? Because when I take the lid off, it's just like this. Interesting. I've never used a foundation that doesn't have any sort of pump mechanism, or at least a smaller top to squeeze out. Okay, well, that's fine. I guess this is kind of interesting. All right, let's see. So I was going to use my BK Beauty 101 brush to apply, so I guess I'll just pour some out on the back of my hand. But yeah, if you guys have this foundation, please let me know. Does it typically come like this, or is it because I got it at the cosmetic company store? Okay, I think I poured out a little bit too much, but at least that should be more than enough for today. So let me just dot this on my face. As you can already see, this is definitely way more yellow in comparison to the La Mer, since this one does have a warm undertone, unlike the La Mer. I think I can make this shade work. I have a forthcoming video for you guys where I try on a full face of K Beauty, that's Korean beauty, and their products are extremely light. And even though I picked out the deepest shades in those brands' ranges, it was still way too light for me. And so now in comparison, I feel like I can make any shades work. There's probably never going to be a video where I have a worse shade match than that Korean beauty video. All right, so basically I poured out enough for 2 layers on this side of my face. I honestly think it looked fine after 1 layer, but just to not waste the product, I'm gonna put this, and I'm actually gonna bring this down my neck. Alrighty, so I would say this is maybe a little bit light for especially my forehead area, but it's not a terrible shade match for me overall. And my guess is that this will probably oxidize a little bit, in which case it'll probably match my skin at that point. Let me actually turn down the exposure and bring you guys closer to hopefully let you more clearly see what's going on my face. So here we have the Estee Lauder Double Wear, and I must say it looks really nice upon initial application. And also I will say I don't smell any scent from this. Let me actually reopen the bottle and double check that. Okay, there's a little bit of a scent if I smell it from the bottle, but it just smells like the scent of the product itself. I don't think there's any fragrance in this, but it looks so nice and perfected on the skin. Wow. Really pretty. I also think it looks pretty set, even though I haven't powdered at all. So today I won't powder. I just want to see how it looks and wears by itself. But very, very pretty upon initial application. This side over here with the Lumiere is definitely less perfecting than this side over here. I mean, that's fair. I just put kind of a thin layer of powder on, so I can't say that I expected high coverage. This is more of maybe a light medium coverage, I would say. You can definitely still see a little bit of my hyperpigmentation on this side. But both sides look pretty good on initial application. I'll definitely either check back with you guys later today or leave a pinned comment on how these products wore. And let me actually also just give you guys a quick swatch. So that's a swatch of the Estee Lauder, and then let's take a little bit of this Lumiere as well. So here we have the Estee Lauder swatched next to the Lumiere. The Lumiere is definitely more pink in undertone, and also the Estee Lauder is a little bit deeper, but as you can see, I think I can make both of them work on my skin. So I went off camera to finish off the rest of my face. As always, I'll list down below the products I have on my face. A few things I noticed in the process of doing the rest of my face though are this side over here set down really quickly. So this Estee Lauder foundation really doesn't seem to require setting. So I don't know if you guys will be able to really see on my arm, but I tried actually washing off the foundation here and it pretty much set immediately. So there's still some that didn't really come off when I was trying to wash it. And indeed, when I look at my face right now, it looks totally set, even though I have not powdered it at all. And also all of the powder products I put on glided on super easily. So overall, I'm quite impressed with this foundation so far. That said, the fact that it's set immediately does make me worry whether it'll be drying over the course of the day. I do have pretty dry skin, and also today I didn't put on any hydrating primer. So it'll be interesting to see how this side wears. On this side over here with the powder foundation, one thing I did notice as I was putting my other powder products on top is that because the foundation itself is powdery and because I have dry skin, I feel like it didn't quite stick to the skin as much as I would like. When I was sweeping my bronzer around, I kind of felt like I pushed the foundation around more than I would have wanted. And so I did apply a tad bit more of the powder foundation after I went in with my bronzer. So I'm thinking this powder foundation is probably more so a product I would use on days when I'm doing more no makeup, or if I'm doing a full face of makeup, maybe I'll start with a dewy primer. Also, by the way, if you guys see the lighting changing a lot, or if the lighting on my face is a little bit uneven or anything, it's because I'm just using 100% natural lighting today. Usually I do have some additional artificial lights on, but I'm testing this out and let me know how you think it looks. Hopefully the lighting changes aren't too jarring. So now let's get into these quads. So let me first just swatch all of them for you guys. So let's first start with Pretty Baby. There we go. So there is Pretty Baby. And just look at that shade over here. Like I mentioned earlier, this was the shade that really sold me. But overall, I think this will be a pretty cute girly palette to throw on the lids. Next, let's swatch Daydream. And I was excited about this one because it's such a unique color story. I don't really have such a cool toned color story in my collection at the moment, and this is in Tom Ford's Baked Gelée formula, which is quite unique as well. So overall, this palette looks a bit softer than Pretty Baby, but I think this will be really beautiful on the lids. And then finally, we have Body Heat. This is, of course, a very iconic quad, and so hence my motivation for picking it up. Ooh, and this one does seem to swatch more pigmented than the other ones. Ooh, that was really nice. Very nice, smooth swatches. So let me give you guys a quick close-up of all these shades. So here we have Pretty Baby, and then we have Daydream over here, and then finally we have Body Heat. So in terms of today's look, originally I was just going to do one of these quads, but now I feel kind of inspired to do something with all three, because when else am I going to have all three of these laid out in front of me? And it also just happens to be the 4th of July here in the United States, so it's our Independence Day. So maybe I'll try to do sort of a red, white, and blue inspired look, because I feel like, I mean, you can definitely see some red, white, and blue over here. So maybe I'll do these shades plus something from Pretty Baby just to bring it to the party as well. And please let me know if you would be interested in a dedicated video to any of the products in today's video. I've been contemplating doing one for each Tom Ford quad and maybe one for the La Mer foundation as well, since I feel like the double wear is probably old news to most of you at this point. But let me know if you're actually interested in any of that content, because these are all products that have been out for a while, so I don't want to film content that no one's interested in. But I'm definitely excited to continue playing around with all these products. So let's start playing by just going into Pretty Baby and going into this fairly neutral, deep shade. And I'm just gonna put this on the outer corner. Oh, wow, okay, that's actually more pigmented than I thought. I was thinking of using this more as kind of a transition shade, but it actually packs a punch in terms of pigmentation. Alrighty, well, that's not necessarily a problem, but just not quite what I was expecting. So let's just blend this out. And my expectation with Tom Ford quads is they should all be really easy to use. All the shades should be winners, given that the retail price for these quads is $89. And of course they only have 4 shades, so you're paying over $20 per shade. And as you saw earlier, on this eye, I just have a tiny bit of that foundation on, and on this eye, I have a tiny bit of that powder foundation on. All right, so on the side where I have the powder foundation, I am getting some patchiness. I don't know if you guys can see, but I feel like it's not really sticking as well as I would like to this part of my eye. But on this side, it's looking pretty good over that liquid foundation. But that's okay, let's keep plowing ahead. So I have now my worker brush from Sonia G, and I'm going into this deep navy shade since I want to bring some blue to this look. Ooh, okay, this is applying very nicely. All right, I'm liking that. Ooh, so pretty. Okay, this is applying like a dream. Let's try it on this side though, because this is the problem eye. All right, yeah, I think this is applying quite nicely as well. Whew. Okay, I am liking this shade. Usually with blues, it can be a little bit difficult to find a formulation that works quite well, because this is the sort of shade that's much harder to formulate. But, whew, that is looking nice. So now for some red, let's go into Body Heat and go into this reddish shade, this all over the rest of the lid. And for context about my experience with Tom Ford so far, so I found his quads to be kind of hit or miss for me. I first bought his first Frost quad since that had great reviews from various YouTubers, but I found that that quad did not work at all for me. The quality was great, but for some reason the pink shade in that palette didn't really show up as pink on my lids. It looked more like a sort of sallow yellow that was just really unflattering. I don't know if it's because my complexion is too warm or what the issue was. It looked beautiful on people with fairer or cooler skin tones, but it was just not looking good on me. So I had to return that. And then I picked up Honeymoon, which looked much better on me. But the red shade in Honeymoon has always given me a lot of grief to blend. The rest of the shades in there blend like a dream, pretty much no effort. But the red shade in Honeymoon is just a little bit patchy if I want to use it as a crease shade. But this red in Body Heat applied very nicely just all over the lids. I mean, that's different from using it in the crease, but so far so good. And then I do want to bring more light to this look. So let me actually go into the shade from Pretty Baby. I know it's not exactly red, white, and blue, but it has some of that blue shift to it. So let's just pop that in the center. Ooh, that's pretty. I really like that blue flip that it has. Go back and just zhuzh out the edges so everything looks intentional. And then I'm going to take some of this frosty shade from Daydream and put this in the inner corners. Wow, that is pretty bright. Let me just blend that out a little bit. And then I'm going to take a tiny bit of this lightest shade in Pretty Baby and just put that on the brow bone. Hopefully it's light enough for that. But I don't want anything too shimmery there. I just want some of that pretty satin sheen that I see here. There's a little bit of a lavender tint to it as well. And now let's go in for the lower lash line. So I'm going to first go in again with this deepest shade and just sweep that along the outer portion. Bring a little bit of smoke there. Taking some of that blue shade from Daydream. And I am getting a little bit of fallout, so let me try to get rid of that blue fallout. Wow, my face feels so matte at the moment, even though I didn't set it. Wow. That Estee Lauder Double Wear is so different from any other foundation I've tried lately. And then I'm actually also curious about this baby blue. So I'm going to use this for the lower inner corner area, just to switch things up a little bit. Ooh, that's really pretty. Alrighty, so here is the finished eye makeup look. I would say it's a little bit darker and smokier than I would typically go in with for a 4th of July inspired look, but still looks pretty nice, and I'm glad I was able to use all 3 of the palettes. So I'm going to go off camera, add some eyeliner, and then be back for the lip products. So here's the final eye look with eyeliner on. What do you guys think? So let me first just quickly swatch these lip powers. Again, if you want to see lip swatches of this, definitely check out my June roundup video because I actually lip swatched both of these shades there. So this is shade 104. As you can see, this is a very hydrating formula. And this shade on me is very similar to my natural lip color, just a hair lighter. And so I think this is good for either a really intense smoky eye day or with lip liner. This is a really great everyday shade on my lips. Next we have 400, and whoa, as you can see, that is extremely pigmented. So this is sort of a blue toned red, and unlike the previous shade, goes on opaque with one swatch. And what I really liked about this formula and my first impression of it is that when you put it on the lips, it's like a lip balm. It's extremely hydrating, extremely soft. At first you're worried it's just going to slip and slide everywhere over the course of the day, but it actually settles into your lips and kind of creates more of this almost vinyl type of finish where it really doesn't budge after it's set down. So of course, if you eat and drink, it might wear off, but in terms of just normal wear, it doesn't fade, it doesn't feather, it really stays in place. So now let's swatch these Lip Maestros. So first we have shade 103. So this is a little bit deeper and more mauvey in comparison to 104 in the Lip Power formula. Then we have 415, and this is a much deeper, warmer toned red in comparison to 400. And you can also get these shades in the Lip Maestros as well. So Armani does have a consistent color numbering system across its different formulas. And then the last one we have here is 206. So that's a really deep chocolate shade. So, I'm excited to try these on. I'm not really sure. I guess today, since it is the 4th of July, I probably should go in with a red lip. But I'm kind of curious how this lighter shade looks as well. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to first put this lighter shade on, and then depending on how that looks, I might take it off and put on the 415. I actually think this shade in the Lip Power probably looks the best with this look in terms of channeling that red, but still having a little bit of a cool tone. But I do want to really try out this Lip Maestro formula because I've never actually tried it before. So let's go in with this shade 103. It's very moussey. It reminds me a little bit of the Lip Clouds from M Cosmetics. Ooh, okay, that was very easy to apply. And it feels very nice upon initial application to the lips. Like, I assume this will dry down a bit with the course of the day, but upon initial application, looks really pretty, feels very nice and nourishing, feels just like a whipped mousse on the lips. But at the moment, as you can tell, the finish is more satin instead of matte. Okay, so I think this would actually be a decent pairing for this eye look. It kind of takes it into that sort of mauvey, desaturated territory. So this would be a nice final look. I do want to try out the other shades though, so I went ahead and took that off, and that actually came off really easily with a tissue, and as you can see, there's no staining. So I think I'm actually going to go in now with the deepest shade and then end with the red shade, since I think that's probably going to be the vibe that I want today. So now let's go in with 209. So this is the chocolate brown shade. Ooh, that is pigmented. And I forgot to mention the lip powers are in the full size, but these Lip Maestros are in the minis. And the doe foots on these are pretty thin, so you can get a really precise application. Ooh, okay, that looks pretty nice. And actually, this shade also goes with this look pretty well. It almost just looks like we're kind of in the 1920s and there's some desaturation in the photography, but wow. I actually really like this look. Okay, so if the bright red doesn't work out, I'm gonna return to this because I feel like this is still kind of channeling some of that glamour, and you can still see a little bit of the reddishness from this, but again, it almost looks like there's a sepia filter which has turned this red into this brownish shade. But I don't know, what do you guys think? You'll have to tell me in the comments down below which of the three colors you like the best with this look. All right, so now let's go in with the last shade. And again, the brown came off super easily, just a tiny bit of staining, but overall very easy to remove, especially for a matte formula. So now let's go into 415. Ooh, there we go. All right, so yeah, I think this is the final look because definitely, I mean, most days I think I would go in probably with that first shade just to have something a little bit more neutral. But for today, since it's 4th of July, I do want to have some red on my face, since I think the eye look overall is a little bit more on the blue side. So here we have the final look. What do you guys think about this hodgepodge of basically all the makeup products that I hauled? So before we end this video, let me just give you guys my overall thoughts about cosmetic company store, luxury beauty store, and these products. So on the whole, I would say I'm quite pleased with my first experience shopping for makeup at the outlets. Going in, I had read a lot of reviews online and they were quite mixed. Some people had some horror stories of buying products that were expired or that weren't even in the box or were damaged in some way. So I was quite pleased that all the products I bought looked like they were brand new, never touched before, never opened. And also for the products from the cosmetic company store, I was able to look up the codes on the products to check to make sure they weren't expired, and they were all within the recommended amount of time from manufacturer, so that was great. For the ones from the luxury beauty store, they didn't actually come with the codes, and so I wasn't able to verify that. But at least from my brief experience today, none of the products seem to have gone bad or have any problems with them. Of course, I'll have to keep you guys posted as I continue using these products, so definitely subscribe down below if you want to be notified when my monthly favorites videos come out. In terms of the products themselves, overall, I have pretty good first impressions of them. Especially this Estee Lauder Double Wear Foundation just looks very impressive on the skin. I definitely anticipate this will be a very long wearing foundation just based on how quickly it's set down and also just based on this stain on my hand. And by the way, if my whole body is looking really weird right now, it's because the sun is just at an angle right now where all of this is very illuminated, and I don't really know what to do about that other than closing the blinds. So we're just gonna run with it since we're almost done with this video. But for the La Mer powder, it's really beautiful and blurring on the skin. I think now that some of my oils have come out, it looks even better. Like I said, I do want to try this with a dewy primer to see if the product sticks to the face a little bit more, because there are parts like right here where I feel like the powder didn't really stick that much because I have a bit of dryness. And so for now, I'm thinking of this powder foundation as being more appropriate on days when I want pretty light coverage. In terms of the eyeshadows, by and large, all of the palettes seem to be performing pretty well. I'm especially impressed with this Daydream quad. These shadows are just so beautiful and unique in my collection, and I managed to try 3 of them for today's look, and they all performed really impeccably, including this shade over here, which I think is quite difficult to formulate. For body heat, I only used the red shade, but it looked really nice on the skin. And also all 4 of these swatched really nicely, probably the best swatches of the day. For Pretty Baby, the deepest shade was a little bit lackluster. It didn't blend out as nicely on the skin as I would have liked, but I did really like how this shade looked on the lids. And in terms of the lip products, I am very impressed with my initial impression of this Armani Lip Maestro. It's incredibly comfortable on the lips. Again, we haven't really seen a matte finish yet, so I'm not really sure how these are supposed to wear. I think it's supposed to give you a matte velvet effect, but as of right now, it's a little bit more of a satin effect, but it's extremely comfortable on the lips. So hopefully it stays this comfortable. I'll definitely have to keep you guys posted in a pinned comment down below and maybe in future videos in terms of my thoughts about this formula. But on the whole, I'm really glad I picked both this and the Lip Powers up from the luxury beauty store. And I'm super excited to also try out all of those samples that I got from the cosmetic company store. So on the whole, this was a really positive first impression haul, and I look forward to shopping at these stores in the future as well. So that's it for today's video. If you guys like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you all so much for joining me today, and I'll catch you next time. Bye!